Andy, first thing to ask, the extended break that you've had over the last few days, what's that been like for you as the management team, and how have you kind of worked on keeping that momentum going that you built up prior to it?
Post crew, we came in Wednesday, Thursday, and worked with the players who hadn't had much game time in that fixture. So we had two really good sessions. I think I spoke to the in-house media team about the four players who trained on Wednesday, and then a few more on the Thursday, and the session was as good as we've had since we've been back. I've got to be honest. I think that the application, the enthusiasm and the quality was really good, and that was without the focus of a Saturday game. So that was good. It's given us a chance to recharge our batteries and focus on what's happened so far in the 6 league games and the 3 cup games. Where we're currently at, it's given a few players a little bit longer to recover from knocks and niggles. We now start the process again with 8 games. I think it is in 24, 25 days. And yeah, we're prepared, we're ready to go again.
Is the challenge recapturing that momentum, because you've obviously had a break now? Is that a big part of it?
We haven't lost anything. We've managed to recharge our batteries. We've got to where we are through a process of how we work Monday to Friday, and that has kicked in again from Monday going forward. So we were back in on Monday morning. That the lads had a well-deserved weekend off, a good break to spend time with the families and do some reflection themselves and where they're at individually. But now that the process about is going forward and how do we get better.
Has it helped, in particular with Ryan Loft, who I know arrived quite very late, didn't have a lot of time to train with you prior to the crew game, but he's obviously had a bit more time now. Has that been a big benefit?
Yeah, to integrate Ryan into the group, for Ryan to get to know his teammates on and off the pitch, for Ryan to get to know how we want to play as a team and what we want from him in his position. So yeah, that's given us a little bit of time regarding that one. The 3 lads have been away playing international football, so it's given them a chance to go away and spend some time with a different group. So yeah, but we're now all back and we're all prepared and ready to affect Saturday's game.
Must have been a good experience for Alfie as well, because I saw the video of him training with the England squad as well. It's not often you see Port Vale midfielder trained with England squad. I can't remember that ever been written before very much, but it must have been a great experience for him and also for the football club.
Yeah, and great experience for Alfie and Ollie and Josh with their respective international teams. I'm sure a really good moment for Alfie to go and train with the England senior team and look at how they do things on and off the pitch. A really good learning environment for him. But it's important now that those 3 guys get their club careers back on the main focus, so to speak, and we look forward to Saturday's game against Northampton.
They are the kind of focus of the next thing I wanted to ask you about, because you've recruited some younger players this year, and I know you talked about that in the summer. From your experience, when you've dealt with the Northern Ireland under-21s and such, how are you using some of that experience now to get the best out of another crop of younger players who are under-21s? Is there a knack to that you've picked up from your time?
I think there's a knack of treating everyone. There's a way of trying to treat every employee, player, member of staff, or whatever it is, and that's to get to know them, to earn their trust and respect, to try and get to know them as a person, to show that caring side that you are a footballer or you are a coach or a physio, but you're a person, and trying to work with them through their family life as well.
It was apparent at the end of the trophy game that I think there were 4 or 5 lads from the academy who were all involved in that game in some respect, and you've given those lads a chance now. Yeah. How do you feel that they've done, and how well have they integrated into? Obviously James is a bit further forward than the others, but how well do you feel that they've integrated into that senior group when they've been required to?
I think it's a reflection on where the academy currently is. A couple of players have left the academy structure and gone on to other clubs, and that's a reflection and the reward for what the coaches are doing, what the football club's doing, and also the player, and there's a few more as well within the system. So regarding the lads who've obviously played for us in the first team, Jack and Reece have spent, since we came back, they've been with us every single day, and they're growing and getting better and feeling more comfortable with the senior players. And Bailey did pre-season with us as well, as Liam did, and they've gone back into their natural group. to continue to grow and get game time. But they were both playing well in the academy games. There's constant communication between myself and the academy staff of who's doing well and who's doing this, that and the other. And when you get games where you can expose them to first team football, I think it's important you do that, but they have to be good enough, and those guys have got some invaluable experience.
And as I say, you've obviously got experience of how to deal with lads who maybe aren't used to being in that group through your own experience of the under-21s. And again, is that something that when you've decided, has it helped when you've needed to judge whether or not they can step up, whether somebody's ready or somebody might need a loan or they might need to stay a bit longer in their age group? Has that helped you in making that decision?
I think you've got to use the academy staff as well, because they're seeing them more, they're seeing them every single day, so it's important that the lines of communication are good between myself and the academy staff. It's important that when I get a chance to watch them play in their own age group, I can watch them play. It's important that they feel comfortable around the first team, but also that the senior players make them feel welcome and make them feel part of it. It's difficult during the first team environment when you're 16-year-old and you're conscious of where you are and how you're behaving, etc., etc. So hopefully that those guys would say that when they train with the first team, there's an environment where they feel comfortable, and if they feel comfortable, I'm sure they can show their best qualities.
To look at the next game in particular, again, it's a Northampton team in a similar situation that you found yourself in last year, having come up, they're trying to get to grips with League One. We've already seen one side in Carlisle, and they've come and challenged you. Are you expecting a similar sort of thing from Northampton?
Absolutely. I think they were unfortunate not to get promoted what the year we did. To respond in the manner they did is credit to the whole football club, to John and to the players, and they got promoted last season and really well deserving. And they've played a few of the so-called bigger teams in the league. They've been competitive. They've changed the style from what they were certainly doing when we were in League Two together. So yeah, it's a tough game. We've done as we always do. We've looked at the opposition. We've looked at what Northampton are trying to do with and without the ball. And we'll try and nullify what they're doing with it, and we'll try and expose them when they haven't got the ball. But it's a challenging game, like every single game is.
Like you said, it's the start of a pretty tough period. They're all tough, I suppose. But has it surprised you the amount of games that have been kind of compacted into a very short space of time at the start of this year? Because the calendar doesn't seem to have been right for a couple of years, really, does it? With the amount of games that you all end up playing at the start of the year.
Is it a price of being successful in the cup competitions that you're always going to get that extra game? And obviously with the Burton game being moved because of international football, the goalposts are changing. In reality, League One, only 2 fixtures went ahead at the weekend. So it shows you that the quality of player now played in League One, the quality of football, the younger players who are maybe dropping down and getting loan experience. So yeah, it's an extremely competitive league, full of really good players, full of really good teams, and yeah, we're doing okay at this moment in time, but we're looking at how we can get better in every single aspect.
The last thing I wanted to ask you, and it's going to be a transfer question, mainly because the free agent market is still around. I'm not going to dwell on this, by the way, but there is the option there. There's lots of free agents still out there now. So even though the window's closed, is that something that you're still looking at this stage? Yeah,
we're looking at every eventuality. We're exploring every avenue. If there's somebody out there that we think can improve our squad, we'll look to do it, absolutely.
And in particular, I know you'd strengthened up front. Are you looking at maybe the left side? Because I know that's come up, hasn't it? And there was lots of talk about there just being the Conor Grant who could cover there. So are you maybe looking at that area?
We've got real competition in every single position. Since the window closed, if you look at our office downstairs, I see competition in every single position. At least 2 players. We've got some players who can play in a number of positions, and with the numbers in our squad, I think that adds to daily competition. High standards. You can't afford to have a bad training session. You can't afford to have 2 poor games, and that's what I'm demanding of the players. Explain to 1 or 2 again their roles and responsibilities within our team structure, and you have to produce. That's the top and bottom. If you want to be a successful player and a successful football team, you can't afford to have many match days off.
Does the market tip in favour of the club now as opposed to the player, being as that the window is shut and some players may have found themselves, right, I haven't got the deal I expected? Does it tip in the club's favour a bit more now?
it might depend on how much the club wants the player.
Really? I suppose so, yeah. But are you, if you like, is it the buyer's market now rather than the guys themselves going, well, I can pick and choose?
You'd possibly look at it that way, but I think there's obviously a number of things that have to happen. And when if you're a free agent, what has happened to make you a free agent? Is it a contract situation? Have you been released at the end of a season? So there's obviously a lot of things come into that picture. Agreed a fee with the club. There's so many things that still have to happen to sign somebody.